So yeah, welcome back guys. It's probably another day that I might join this to you. If not, welcome back to the video. So anyway, we were talking about those wheels that basically I bought, and I was debating obviously what to do with them. I did write down the list of what we'd need to do. I did get some quotes back, and it just didn't seem viable basically to go down that route. As you can see obviously from the prices, it just wasn't viable, you know. I was getting quotes back of £55 to £60 to repair just the one wheel. At least 3 of them needed repairs, and then after discovering all of the tyres are pretty much shot, they just don't hold any value to me at all. So we had a go with the drill bit to get this one out, and the die grinder. As you can see, it's quite messy, and then the face is probably going to need some form of metal filler to fill in these dents where they've hit it with a hammer to try and repair that. So my idea is I'm probably just going to scrap whatever's in there, or if someone wants them really cheap, obviously I'll tell them what's wrong with them. Other than that, I'm not going to be running them. I don't feel that they will be any good after, even if after they are repaired. But it just doesn't make sense to have those wheels even repaired at that price when I could get a full set for a lot cheaper, basically. So after a lot of searching and rummaging around, and obviously weighing up my options of the cost of things, I've managed to stumble across this set of wheels. So the one thing I've noticed about these, apparently they come off Megans as well as Lagunas. So that's a set that came off a Laguna that was being broken, and then this set came off a Megan. And the only thing I noticed about it that was slightly different, I have given these a full clean down because these were really dirty. They were just sitting in someone's garden, and they're not too bad. They've got the typical little bit of curb rash here, but the only thing that's noticeable on them that's different to the other ones that I noticed is this bit's got a lip. So I don't know if they did that afterwards, once they started finding out that the Laguna ones were cracking, which is what I thought I've got on this lip here, reinforcing it with this piece here, so this bit's a lot stronger on the actual rim. As you can see they're quite crusty, but I've given it a clean off as best I could without any acid cleaners, just some generic wheel cleaners and like a scouring pad, trying to clean up what I can. Today I'm going to try, if I have enough paint, I'm going to scuff them all up again and show you guys. I'm going to get all the wheel weights off and all the residue. So what I've got is just a can of Cell Freeze. I've never used it before, but it's highly recommended. So I've got this from my mum. So my mum's recommended this to get off anything like that. So I'll give it a go with that, and that should hopefully get some of this this sticky residue off here. So you just spray it on, leave it to soak, and come back to it and try and scrub it off with like a scouring pad or a scourer of some sort. And that should hopefully give you a good start to getting that off. Like I say, they're not the best of nick, but for what price I got them for, it was, let's just say it was less than one of those wheels to repair them, basically. That's how cheap I got a full set again. So they obviously didn't come with tyres, but again, I do want to run new tyres, so we're going to clean these up. I was debating to paint them the same colour as the car, but I've already got the paint here that's for the car, which is the Glacier White. So I've got a can of each of them, which I was going to use a can on each wheel, which I thought should be enough. I've got loads of lacquer as well, because I want to give a nice thick layer of lacquer on them so I can polish them, wax them, and you know, they'll last longer basically. You know, they'll have a thicker layer of protection on the wheel. So what I've got is, just for these wheels, because they are just backup wheels, I thought might be quite good to try. I've got some, like, it's like almost like a gunmetal grey, it's called cast iron effect basically, and it is like a gunmetal grey. I've got probably just over 1 can to try and do all 4 basically. So I'm going to try and give it a go and apply it thinly across the cans, and try and basically give these a new lease of life. They look quite nice in the silver as they are, but obviously with the curb rashes and things like that, I don't think I want to leave them like that. So I'm going to rub them down, give them a little clean off, and try and get the majority of it off. We may just do a face refurb. I might just have enough to do the faces and leave the backs as they are, rather than pissing around cleaning them and sorting them out when they're just going to get really dirty anyway, and you're never really going to see the insides anyway. So and like I say, they are just the backup wheels, but when we come to do the other wheels, we'll do them fully, you know, in and out with the cans, the back of the barrels, and then all we got to do is get these rebalanced, get a set of tyres on them. I'm hoping to run, well, I'm either going to go real cheap and real budget tyre on these, or I'm going to go for my personal preference. I quite like the Yokohama tyres. Don't have a massive preference on which Yokohama tyre as such, but just a decent Yokohama tyre. I know they wear out quicker than other tyres and things like that, but I won't be running them as long as others, and I'll be swapping them between the 2 wheels for different seasons. So I might have a wet set and I might have a dry set, so that when obviously we get a lot of rain here in England, so it'd be nice to have a decent set of tyres when it rains, and then when the weather gets slightly better, which it is now, coming into sort of spring, I can chuck the dry set of tyres on, you know, so they grip a bit better in the dry, and and then just go from there basically. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with these, start scrubbing these down, and I shall update you when I've done a bit more work on them basically. So when I've actually got them all cleaned off. So what I've done is obviously just given them a little bit of a clean with the wire wool with the soap, and then just come out and rinse them off out here. What I'm going to do is just get the angle grinder and put a flapping wheel on it and just clean up the some of the curb rash, just to clean up some of this basically, and yeah, just basically hopefully make that a little bit cleaner. I probably am just going to do the face as a refurb, and just go from there basically. Give them a coat of lacquer, get the I've got a hot air gun, just heat them up so they're nice and hot, and then just bake it on basically, just see how it goes and see how well that makes them look a lot better basically than they are. Like I say, they are just budget wheels, and just trying to make them look a little bit nicer than what they were really. So yeah, I'm going to do that now, flap wheel the curb rash away, and just give them another rinse off with the hose, and go from there basically. Then it should be just a basic lick of primer, and then we can start. Right, wheels are all cleaned, and yeah, basically been out there washing off the rest of the residue. I've just got the sanding flapper disc basically on the end of a grinder, and then all I've done is just cleaned up all the edges, so it's got rid of all that curb rash and just cleaned it up. So it's a really good tip to get rid of any sort of curb rash if you're doing these yourself. So you can see that's a lot nicer now. Just leaves you with a sort of raw edge there. So I'm going to primer these. Well, I'm going to dry them off first because they're still wet, because I rinsed it off so there was no debris on the face. And yeah, we're just going to basically clean these off, like dry them off, and then start laying down some primer. So yeah, I'll start drying them off, get the air compressor on it, and then I've got the heat gun up here just to put some warmth into them, and then they'll stick a bit better, and then just obviously it'll help dry whatever's left in any of the lug holes, because you don't want any water on these once you're starting to paint and prime them. So yeah, I'm going to start doing that now. Hi guys, so yeah, I'm all protected up, got my mask on, and we've dried all these off, had the heat gun on it, and yeah, now we're just going to lay down a basic layer of primer,
Don't need to go too crazy, just something to just cover up the edges where we've had the grinder on it to get rid of that curb rash. And yeah, lay that down now. Right, so there we go guys, so it's got a decent layer of primer on there, so that'll just cook on for about half hour or so, and then we'll come in and we'll give it a coat of paint and just spray them up. So yeah, just a nice quick easy way to paint some wheels guys, nothing too fancy but look a lot better than they were. And then we'll look at getting some tyres put on these, and then we'll get them on the car. And yeah, I quite like them. They look like the Renault Sport wheels that come on the Clio, just minus there's like a groove that you get here on every spoke. So I quite like them like this. They're quite smooth, and they're the same size wheel. I'm not sure if they're the same width, but they are the same rim size. So people do run these on their cars. And yeah, they look really smart, really nice. I've got all the centre caps as well, they need doing. But we're just going to get this done, nice decent layer. I'll get the heat gun on them again just so this can bake on nice and well, and it'll just speed up the process a bit better. But obviously you want to be doing this in a nice ventilated area with a mask on. I've got the door open now, and we're just going to let this sort of cook for a bit, and I'm going to get on with some other jobs and come back to it. And yeah, it should look really smart, really nice. And like I say, these were just a backup wheel, but they're looking quite nice, and actually might run them as my main wheel. So yeah, leave a like guys, leave a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, and hopefully if you got any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and hopefully I can help you with any of this if you're looking to DIY refurb your wheels for yourself. So yeah, we'll come back to these in a minute, and we'll see how they get on.
So it's been probably about an hour or so. I've just basically went and had some lunch. I thought I'd let the wheels properly dry off. So they're looking really good, looking really smart. So looking quite nice in white actually. So I've been contemplating about the actual colour, but I probably am just going to go with the actual cast iron effect paint. So I've just got this here, so it just says cast iron effect there. So it gives like I did like a test shot of it there, and it's obviously don't worry about the colour, but this bit mainly it will look like this sort of gunmetal grey with quite a lot of flake in it. So we're going to go with that sort of look for these. And if we don't like them, we can always change them, but I thought I'd give it a go. I've got the paint already, and hopefully there's enough to cover them. It's quite a thick material, so it should cover quite well. And then all I've got is some lacquer, and we'll do a good like sort of 3 or 4 coats of this to really sort of give them a nice thick layer, so that I can polish them and wax them, and they should look good for some time then basically. So it's not the best way of doing it guys, but this is just a quick budget way of refurbing the wheels, and like I say, they're looking a lot nicer. All the curb rash is now gone, and they're looking a lot nicer there. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is get the mask on, and then start painting basically. Give them the first light coat, come back in about half an hour or so, let that cure, and then do another second coat, lay that on a bit thicker, and see where we lie. Might even do a 3rd coat, and yeah, basically I'll probably just use the rest of that paint on these wheels, just get a nice thick layer of paint on there. I'm not going to use it for anything else, and I want the paint to be quite sort of thick and like well, it's going to be quite durable basically. I don't want it to thin out on the actual wheel in any way, so I'm going to do that, do some thin layers, come back to it in a sec, and then once that's dried and cured, we'll come back in a couple of hours again, and we'll chuck down some lacquer, and we'll do that probably a nice layer every hour, something like that. Do about 3 layers, and we should all be good then. And then we got to just look for some tyres to mount these two, and then we can swap them over for the other wheels, and then we can take them off, and then we've got the paint all ready to go for them, and we're going to colour match it to glacier white, which is what the colour of the car is. And then we got a white set and we got a gunmetal set, and what I was thinking is doing a winter set of wheels and a summer set of wheels. So these will more likely be the winter set, but I'll run them for now just while I'm refurbing them, and I'll put some like wet tyres on these, and then I'll get some dry tyres for the other ones, or I might just run some Yokohamas all round, all weather tyre, then I don't have to worry about it and I can just swap them as and when. Like I say, they are just a backup set and they're not supposed to look perfect, but the other set we'll do more detail. We'll paint the back of the barrels and everything as well, get them fully done, but I still want to keep it on a bit of a budget. I don't want to be spending an absolute fortune on powder coating, things like that, as they are going to be white. They are going to probably eventually get ruined anyway, so but we can get a decent enough finish with the paint. I have no doubt about that. It should look really nice. I've done wheels in the past and they've always come up nice. You just got to make sure you do the prep really well. You got to make sure you degrease them. I've washed these about 4 or 5 times. I've scrubbed them twice. I've wire walled them, so the paint and the primer will stick to them really well. Basically I just had some they were just these basically, which are a really good idea. They're only 60p in Tesco, and they're like a soap filled wire wool, so not too abrasive but enough abrasive that it'll get all the, well, it depends how bad your wheels are, but mine were really crusty, not too good. Other than a bit of curb rash, the wheels were pretty straight. They did have quite a lot of like brake dust embedded on them, but once you've cleaned them a few times with scouring pads and a little bit of sandpaper here and there, and then finishing up with that wire wool which degreased them with the soap, rinsed them off again, and they've come out fantastic so far. So yeah, we're going to get painting and we'll go from there. So again, it's been about another half an hour or so, and we've done our first light coat on the wheels, and they're looking quite nice. I quite like the colour. Like I say, that's just a very light base coat on these, and then I've still got almost a full can over there to do the rest. So I'm going to put down another layer. Again, just do it lightly again, just fill in any of the white spots, try and get in between all the spokes, and then hopefully come in here and finish it off with a slightly heavier third coat.
Okay guys, so I don't know if you can hear me, but basically, yeah, we had a bit of a mishap with the other paint, the cast iron effect paint, which looked really nice, but the problem was on a few of them they were coming up with like cracking on the actual paint. So what I've done is I've gone and got some like Rust-Oleum gunmetal metallic. I've got a few cans here, I've got 3 just in case. And then we've actually gone over the wheels again, and we've ended up with this basically. So yeah, it's looking really smart, looking really nice. So there's a nice bit of flake in there, and yeah, they've come up really nice. Love the colour. The colour's exactly what I was after, and not too far off the previous colour. So what I had to do was, because I think it was reacting slightly to the actual stuff, so I had a little scuffing pad, so I just scuffed them up a little bit to put the new paint on. And then I bought this a while ago when I repainted Rita. It's just some, well, panel white basically. So it's good for bodywork sort of degreasing. So it's good industrial stuff. None of those like rubbish wipes that work. So I'm always doing a bit of painting, so it's always best to buy a load of that. It's like 15 quid for a big load of 5 litres. And hopefully we should get no more reactions. They can stay in here overnight and dry. I'm going to keep doing the same thing, coming out every hour or so and painting it, but it has set me back a few hours now. It's about 8 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, we've done a good decent heavy layer already. I'm going to let this go dry. Then I'm going to come out and do another layer and see how they are. And hopefully that should be all we need then. Once they've dried, I'll probably let them dry overnight, and then we'll come back at another time and we'll hit it with a clear lacquer to give it some protection over the actual paint. But fingers crossed we don't get any reactions or any issues now. But no, they're looking really nice. Really love the colour. Yeah, no, I just think it looks a little bit more special than the silver. Silver's quite obviously a plain OEM colour. But I've always liked the sort of gunmetal colours, so hopefully this should come out really nice. So yeah, I'm going to grab some dinner and come back and hit these in a bit. So it's been about another half an hour and I've done a second coat. So we've not had any reactions so far. So it's looking all good. It might have been that heat gun that was doing it, but yeah, it's looking real nice now. I'm really happy with the finish on that. So that was the one with the worst reaction just there in the centre. But now all the curb rash is gone. It's looking really nice. So yeah, I'll be popping out. Probably leave these about another half hour, 40 minutes. Give them a third layer and then leave them overnight, and then I'll come back to them and put some lacquer on them, possibly tomorrow. So I may end the video there. You don't really need to see me lacquering them. You can see the finish is going to be pretty much the same as this, just with some lacquer on it, so they'll be probably a little bit shinier. But generally that is done basically. They're not far off being done. Just got to get some tyres and get these put on. And yeah, I'm really excited. It should be really nice. Should look really smart on this car. And yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. So yeah, we've managed to refurbish some wheels. I think these have cost me, when I tally it up, because I've just had to go out and buy some of that metallic paint, I'd say probably in total these wheels probably owe me at the minute about 60 quid. So no, sorry, tell a lie, about £85. £85 fully painted. So yeah, can't complain at that. So really happy with that. And yeah, like I say, it's a good way of doing it yourself if you've got the you know, a bit of knowledge about painting. It's not too hard. You just got to prep really well and just know how to paint well with a can. It's good doing small areas, but when you start doing big areas, you know, when you're doing cars and stuff like that, you can see it's not perfect. But on wheels, you know, I'm actually not too bad at doing them, so I can actually do these quite well. They do take quite a bit of time to do, you know, rubbing them all down, especially if you've got a multi-spoke wheel. It takes a bit longer, but generally, you know, you can get results like this just with a couple of days work, degreasing it, washing it, sanding it, and then just keep those stages going, and just make sure you're happy with the surface, because it will show every little mark if you don't get it out. So if you can see it with your eye, you'll be able to see it regardless of any paint over the top. So yeah, just make sure you fully clean them and prepare them properly basically, and yeah, and then just paint them, do them in light coats, like I say, every hour do a coat, do 3 I'd say at best if you want maximum coverage. Especially with spoke wheels, you have to make sure you get them from every angle, so you have to hit it from this side, hit it from this side, and then hit it from this side, and then hit it from that side, just so you've got maximum coverage over the wheel and inside these where the lug nuts are. So yeah, it's taken a few coats, but it'll be worth it in the end, and they look fantastic, so I'm really happy with that. Can't complain. They're probably not coming up as well on camera, but they look really nice, really glossy, really, the colour is real deep, and you can really see the metallic in it. So I don't know if you can see that, but the lights in here don't really do it justice, but yeah, I promise you that this looks really, really smart. So yeah, if you like the video guys, leave a like, and like I say, I'll probably be doing the set on the Clio at some point when I get the tyres for these and swap them over. I'll be doing the other ones in white, and we'll be going a bit more in depth with those, cleaning and doing the back of the barrels as well. These just need front refurbishment, so I'm not too fussed about the backs. You won't see them, you know, and it's not a show car. These are just temporary second wheel, and you know, we can always do them at a later date if we really want to, but for now I'm happy with just the faces done. So it's win-win really. And yeah, if you're new around here guys, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for all your support so far guys. I've had some really good positive comments from a lot of you, and you're saying you're liking the channel, you're liking what I'm doing, so you know, I'm just doing what I would normally do, but I'm just documenting it for you, for me, and yeah, we're just going to keep up with these projects. Got lots to do, so many to do, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys.